what is inner work, guys? This is another phrase that is you've probably heard a lot on social media, especially if you are the type that follow this type of content. If you follow teachers, healers, coaches, spiritual teachers, you will have heard them speak about inner work. Maybe you've also used it a lot. Maybe you've also spoke about how you're dealing, you're doing inner work. So for today, I want to just unpack what inner work is, and it follows nicely after talking about what coaching is, what life coaching is, therapy and counseling of the 3 previous videos. If you've not watched those, do watch them as well. And then we take it now into the actual work. What is the work of a coach? What is the work of a therapist? And one of the things that a coach will make you do is to do your inner work. So doing inner work, I can do your inner work with you in session. When you're in session with a coach, with a therapist, we are literally helping you with your inner work. But the real work, the real inner work is done by yourself. You do it on your own. The process of coaching, the kind of questions we give you, the kind of journal prompts we ask you to do, the kind of rituals we ask you to do, or exercises or homework will help you with your inner work. They will deepen your inner work. They will take you into the inner work. So what exactly is inner work? And I can only explain it with some examples, but in definition, inner work is a practice of self-inquiry. Inner work is a practice of being self-aware, of always constantly being aware of what's happening inside, within, without immediately deflecting it, without immediately blaming the external world. I'll give you an example, and I hope this example lands. Let's say your colleague, let's say you were in the office and you had one of those long meetings that are tiring, and your colleague said something or did something that somehow rubbed you the wrong way or that upset you or something, but it did touch something inside, because it's always something inside that get touched. It triggered you, not just to use the term trigger. So they say something, it triggers you, and you immediately, because you are in an office setting, you can't obviously just be all emotional, and you can't attack or anything like that. You just hold it and you become professional in all that. And then at lunchtime, you're sitting and that thing comes back that, let's say your colleague is Karen. You know what Karen said or what Karen did, just, I didn't like it. That bringing it back at lunchtime is one of the steps of inner work. Usually people would then, instead of going deep within to figure out why is it that that thing specifically got to me, usually what people do is they would then want to share with a colleague or share with someone or share with a friend. Oh, no, not Karen doing this is, and then you express something that you have not felt. But then let's say you do that. Let's say you share with another colleague, hey, did you see what Karen did? And this, I didn't like it. And, how dare she, or whatever the case is. And then you share this, fine, it gets over with the other colleague. And then you drive home. After work, you are in traffic, you're on the N1 and you're driving home, and that thing comes back again. The whole thing that Karen did comes back again, despite the fact that you spoke about it with a friend. If it comes back, it means there is something deeper that Karen has triggered or that Karen has touched that needs your attention. It needs your attention. It needs you to go in and figure out exactly what is it that was touched. Because what was touched was not what was in the office. It was something deeper that is inner. So when you are someone who understands inner work, you will understand that there is something else that's going on underneath that I need to deal with, because it can't be that out of everyone who was in the meeting, Karen affected me alone. Let's say the colleague that you spoke to said, really, I didn't take it that way. She meant this and this and this. That's how I saw it. If it is only you, especially if it is only you that is touched, it means there is some inner work that you need to do to understand what is it that was touched. So perhaps that was something that was touched was your sense of invisibility that began when you were small. Let me tell you something about healing and teaching and coaching and the things that we do as teachers and healers is that everything that happens in our lives or in your life usually finds its roots in childhood. So you need to make peace with the fact that if you're going to go to a coach, or if you're going to go for therapy, or if you're going to go for counseling, they're going to ask you about the 9-year-old self, the 6-year-old self, the teen self, because everything starts, they find its roots there. To take it even further, most things find their root at home, the house you were raised in, this home structure you were raised in. So whatever Karen might have said in the meeting, if it went deep, if you tlhabile, it most probably tlhabed the 9-year-old or tlhabed the 11-year-old or tlhabed the 15-year-old. This is why we do inner work. So you are in a process of doing inner work when you ask questions such as, why did Karen affect me so intensely? When have I ever felt like this before? When was the first time this kind of action or these kinds of words that Karen has said impacted me? How have I always responded to it? Do I keep quiet? Do I avoid? Do I attack? What do I do when this kind of thing happens generally? When you're doing that, when you're asking those questions, so all those questions, whether those questions are asked by yourself in your journal prompting or they are asked through a coaching process or therapy process, those take you to do the inner work. Inner work is also emotional digestion or emotional digestion. I always say that every day. I always say to my clients that every night before you go to bed, especially if you are in active coaching with me, before you go to bed, you do whatever you need to do. If you're a prayer person, you pray, but make sure that you bring everything that happened in the day, bring it up, just like how a cow would eat all day, it would graze all day. And then in the evening, when they're sitting there, they bring all that grass up, they bring it all up to the second stomach, and then they chew it back up. They chew it back up. So I always say to my client, do that so that you practice your inner work muscle. So that every evening, obviously it can't be every, sometimes you just want to sleep. But as many nights as possible, bring everything that happened, especially if a situation such as Karen triggering you coming up, bring it all up and just figure out, what is this really about? And then you will discover that the thing you thought you outgrew or you have overcome comes back again. You will recall in one of the videos when we were talking about healing, what healing really is. You find that healing is cyclical, because healing and inner work, it's the same thing, really. This is just a different side of it, the different angle of the same thing. So it will come back and you discover that, oh, I was triggered by Karen because I still feel invisible, I still feel like an imposter in this office or in this boardroom, in this room, or I still feel like I'm a victim, or whatever the case is. And then once you think about it and you digest it, depending on whether you have a coach or not, you can then journal about it so that you get it out of your system. We'll do journaling as a separate video, like I've been promising, because it's more than just writing things up. Journaling is very therapeutic. I've had a quote, someone say, I don't know if I read it or I heard it, that journaling, if you're a great journaler, you are going to therapy. I mean, the well-known journaler is Mama Oprah Winfrey, who apparently has never been to therapy. Both her talk show and her journaling daily was part of her therapeutic exercise. Essentially, journaling is a big part of inner work. It is not inner work itself, but it is a part of it. So there's journaling that is deeply, deeply therapeutic, the one that a lot of people don't want to engage in. I don't know. I need to do journaling as a separate video. Otherwise, I'm going to get entangled and run off a tangent. What else is inner work about? Inner work is about doing your shadow work. Now, once again, shadow work is a big subject that I do separately on Patreon. For my Patreon students, I have almost, I think, around 14 videos on shadow work and unpacking them one by one. So it's a very, very big subject, which I won't do justice in this video. But you know that you are doing your inner work if you are actively engaged with doing shadow work. So what is a shadow really? Very briefly, a shadow or shadow work is about all the parts of us that we don't own, that we don't accept, that we don't want to look at, that we ignore, but they show up externally. They show up in Karen, they show up in the people that you don't like, people who trigger you. And I mean, this is just surface. Shadow work is deeper than that. But for the sake of this video, if you are triggered by a particular type of person, a particular type of thing, it is most likely a shadow that you have. So greedy people, if greedy people rub you the wrong way and you hate them and you can't take it, chances are there's a little a little greedy way in yourself that you don't want to own. I know it's hard. Shadow work, yeah, shadow work, I see, yeah, shadow work will show you your mother. It's not child's play. So that's why I dedicated nearly 14 videos on teaching shadow work and how to overcome it, how to befriend the shadow, and how to deal with it. Once you do your shadow work, you are well on your way to becoming a very, very fully functional whole person who does not fall into victim mode from time to time. Okay, what else have I put on my notes about inner work? So inner work is not always only about doing your healing work. I mean, it's a big part of it, but inner work is also about soul work. Inner work is when you go deep enough within yourself to understand what is it that you are here to do. So when you need to understand and find your calling or your purpose, in a bigger scale, but also if you want to understand what is expected of you in a particular situation. Let's say, for an example, you are called to in a conflict. There's a conflict that needs to be resolved, and you are called to be part of that meeting. When you are someone who has a very strong inner work muscle, you will tune in and listen to things like, what exactly am I here for? What is it that is expected of me? Not at surface level where, okay, so this is what I need to say, but at a deep level, you figure out what your role is in the bigger scheme of things, whether you were the wrong one or the wronged one. I know this is very deep for now, but that's how far inner work goes. It starts first as a modality you use to help heal yourself, to help you understand yourself better, understand yourself in relation to other things, understand your triggers, understand your shadows, understand what is expected of you in any given situation, understand where you fall off, understand where you drop the ball and why you drop the ball and how you can do better next time. All that's what inner work is there for. So you understand that it's actually everything is all on you. And once you start doing inner work and you do it as a practice, as something that is part of your lifestyle, a few things will start no longer happening. You will stop blaming people for your mistakes, or you'll stop acting like a victim. You will also stop complaining. Complainers, blamers, victims are generally people who are just lazy to do inner work, who don't want to go there. And like I said, inner work is something you can do on your own. It's something that you can do with your teacher, with your coach, or anyone that you see. But it is a practice that will make you more self-aware, more self-improved, and it will help you with your mental health issues and with your emotional well-being and emotional regulation. So very few things will catch you off guard. Not that everything, but very few things will catch you off guard. Because when you do inner work, you get very centered. You get very clear. You do the thing that Steve Covey of the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, where whenever there's a trigger, whenever Karen says something, there's always that pause. That's the inner work muscle that is working, that is functioning before you can respond. When you do your inner work proper, you will stop reacting to things and you will start responding. Sometimes a response could be a silence. That's a response enough. Sometimes a response would be to stop someone right on their track immediately. But the reaction is when you are spiraling and getting into the same old way of reacting to things over and over and over. So inner work is, yeah, it's one of the first steps to take or to do when you get into healing. You cannot heal when you don't do inner work. Inner work is not performance. I find a lot of people perform healing, especially if someone is talking a lot about how they're healing online. Chances are they're not, because what I've found is that people who are really doing inner work and really healing their stuff, they go quiet. They go quiet. We see it more than we hear it. It's almost like they show, they don't say. And it's not even a performance that I'm not going to show It happens like that. You lose the need to get validation outside because now you are doing inner work, you are healing. Okay, so it's the performative aspect of healing drops completely when you do proper inner work. Another thing I must mention about inner work is not staying positive. Inner work is not about, oh, positive thinking, ignoring things that are bombing, ignoring really, really a lot of pain in your life because you are busy staying positive. People who are always, always staying positive, and there's a term now, they call it toxic positivity, generally are bypassing. So you are bypassing dealing with the triggers, dealing with your abandonment issues, dealing with your rejection issues, dealing with other issues that unfortunately you've had to deal with. I mean, as long as you're human, you are scarred. As long as you've gone through something called childhood, very few people have gone through childhood unscarred. We all have issues from childhood, all of us. All of us. It's just that others are working on them and they're overcoming them, but we all have issues from childhood. We're not born with them, but you get them along the way. So if you don't want to deal with those issues of childhood, because when you want to remain positive, oh no, 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 let's not talk about negative things. Let's just be positive. Yeah, that is bypassing and that is not doing inner work. In fact, an overly obsessively positive person is performing and they're not doing their inner work. Positive thinking, or let's just stay positive. Again, it's one of those things that you don't necessarily have to say. We will just know that, this one is a positive person and optimistic and really grounded in who they are because they do inner work. Okay, so I hope that helps. There's more where that came from. For more of this type of work, if you really want to do, especially shadow work, it is a subject I teach, a subject that will change your entire life, your entire mental attitude, your entire emotional well-being, and your entire outlook. It's doing shadow work. I have it on Patreon. You join the community, it's free to join. And if you want to do the shadow work, you need to join the Explorer membership, and then you'll get the entire teachings. I have over 200 teachings on Patreon, both video and audio and written, via my newsletter. My newsletter is a teaching newsletter. The articles I write are helpful. It's not just advertising. It's not just promoting things. And also, if you want to work with me in the new year, if you want to be a coach or start using coaching skills at your workplace, because, coaching skills are going to be required so much more in the workplace. If you want to gain some basic coaching skills and deep ones, let me not say basic, you can join my coaching course in the new year. Simply email me and then I will send you the details that you need and we'll take it from there. For now, this is my story. I cannot wait to hear yours.